It's time for the best games of 2019.
Hot take!
They're mostly good.
Yes, another year is almost coming to a close.
That's right.
It is time for us to talk about some of our favorite games of 2019. There's been a lot of really great games that were released this year, but we're just going to be talking about a few of them.
Yeah, the ones we specifically played instead of just naming games that we haven't tried out, because that's a stupid thing to do.
You can't play every game.
Yes.
Maybe back in 1985, you could play like every game that was released.
Sure.
But it's just impossible nowadays. So between the two of us, we both have what we want to share as our top 5 lists.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And it begins with my list.
Oh!
Well, and we're going to go with number 5. We're going to go between each other.
Yep.
So my first pick is Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remaster. This is just good. I love the graphics, love the gameplay. The gameplay is just like the original release because it is a remaster or recreation of the original. It's not a remaster. It's a remake.
We call it a remake,
yes.
sure.
And it's got pretty much everything that you'd want from a remake. It recreates all the original aspects, takes elements from not only the original Link's Awakening, but Link's Awakening DX, the Game Boy Color version, and adds those features into this one, so you get all those things as well. Plus, I want to say a more refined style of art that looks like a kind of claymation design.
It's plasticine in design in my mind, and like it basically is if I would have taken those old chibi graphics from the Game Boy and made them more modern. Like, this is what I would want to have seen. It's like perfect. It kind of doesn't feel like a Nintendo game to me. I was playing it very recently, and it's like a warm hug, but it's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many weird little details. Of course, there's like other Nintendo characters in it and stuff, which is odd, but just the general feel, I think it might be because of the art style and like the changed music and stuff. It feels more like an indie developed game.
Sure.
But one thing's for sure about Link's Awakening, this like proves to me that the old style Link games are still very much viable, because it was so great to play through. Just a wonderful game.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you might think that it's aged drastically and it's not fun to play, but that's simply not true.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I really feel that if you haven't played the original, you can play this one and you wouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, on to my number 5. Now, Shane, a lot of people are talking about From Software. There's a lot of people speaking about one specific From Software game. And my number 5 is a From Software game.
Yeah, I think I know what he's talking about.
I'm talking about Metal Wolf Chaos XD. Metal Wolf Chaos XD. Metal Wolf Chaos came out in Japan in 2004. It was a partnership between From Software and Microsoft, as the Microsoft Xbox was floundering over there. So they're like, we need to make something to appeal to the Japanese market.
So what did they make?
They made the most over-the-top, like, supreme American video game they could possibly do. This game is controlling fireworks.
Yep.
It is a Michael Bay movie in a video game, and it still holds up incredibly well. Now, you are playing as the President of the United States of America.
Yep.
There is a coup d'etat in which the Vice President of the country is going against you and has basically besmirched or smeared your name.
Yep.
So you're going from different sections of the country and reconnecting it. It is the best connection game of America. You know where I'm going with this?
I do.
Released in 2019.
But what's really crazy about this is you might think the president is going on foot. You might think that he's flying around. No, he's in a gigantic mech.
He's in a gigantic mech.
That's the game.
Yeah, and this mech is highly customizable. It's wonderful because when you think of From Software, you might remember the Armored Core series.
Yes.
And I believe this game sort of veered the Armored Core series in a different direction because of just how sort of fun and how interesting the sort of upgrade systems and stuff were for this title. It like a lot of people slept on this. Don't pick it up digitally, or there's even a physical release of it. It's really great.
Yeah. Now, for my number 4 pick is the only VR game I'm going to be picking for this specific list, and that is Beat Saber. Beat Saber had betas and things like that previously. It's not the very first version of the game. However, the final release of the game is the 2019 release of Beat Saber. Even if you played it prior to 2018 or variations of it, I gotta say that what finally came out, the one that everyone's been playing on Oculus Quest, PlayStation VR, HTC Vive, any way you can play it, is fantastic. Now, if you've never played Beat Saber, what you're essentially looking at here is Guitar Hero with beat sticks. And you would think that that would be boring, but it's not. Guitar Hero requires precision button input. This requires arm flailing like you wouldn't believe. It really is fun. It's I consider a game that gives you a really good workout. It can get really difficult and complex based off of how fast it goes. But all in all, it seriously is one of the best VR games you can possibly play. And my personal choice for one of the best games of 2019.
Yeah, Beat Saber was really interesting. Do you have like mini lightsabers?
That's basically what it is.
That's basically it. Yeah. It's a mini lightsaber rhythm game.
Yeah.
I don't think we have much else to say about that. It is all cool.
Yeah, you know, there's like a lot of other VR games that offer like a sword play mechanics and stuff like that. The problem is when you do it, when you're moving your sword in free space, it will keep your hand will keep going, but your sword stops. That's not how this game works. It's just smooth gameplay.
It's just smooth, and the music is great, and there's going to be some updates and stuff as well. Green Day is doing a pack for Beat Saber.
If you like Green Day, you can listen to Green Day music while you're beating sticks.
My number four is a game that was released on the Switch. It is a game by Platinum, and it is Astral Chain. Now, Astral Chain is a really interesting Platinum release.
Yep.
A lot of people see Platinum games, and you expect the usual third-person action, combo-heavy, like Twitch-based, just action games, right? You got your Bayonettas, just things moving fast. Astral Chain does that, but it adds so many different layers to it that just like make the Platinum formula explode in wonderful ways. So instead of just controlling one character, you're controlling two characters at a time now. Your main character is a police officer in some weird far-flung future where you're trying to stop sort of an invading force by encapsulating or capturing some of the enemies and tying them to yourselves with chains. So you have this other character you're controlling on the screen at the same time, and you would think, oh my gosh, like fighting and stuff is always so like complicated in Platinum games. Yes, but it's so interesting in that you're using your chain to clothesline people, to tether people, like your enemies, of course. The mechanics there are so interesting. You're continuously upgrading these helpful other characters as well, and there's multiple of them. Some you can ride, some are shields. There's just so much combat in development of that combat in this game that it's like a never-ending ocean. But it goes beyond that because it also incorporates like police procedural aspects into the game. So like, again, in Platinum games, their stories tend to be pretty cool and interesting, but it's mostly action and combat heavy. But in Astral Chain, you stop. And you have a 20-minute breather where you're like, oh, well, some kid disappeared. Go talk to everyone. And you're kind of like finding little clues and stuff. And then you're talking to other police officers from this special division and like, okay, what's going on here? And so it expands the world, expands the story. This is basically, I would say this is one of the greatest Platinum games that has ever been released.
Well, folks, you've heard it here first. A better version of LA Noire in the future.
Yes,
that's what this essentially
right.
is.
With chains!
With chains, yeah. All right, so my number 3 pick is one I think a lot of people might have been missing out on because it was limited to the Epic Game Store on PC, and I think PC is the way to play this. Control. I'm a huge fan of Remedy from way back, ever since I played the original Max Payne, and I've been following Remedy ever since. They're a fantastic company. I've played all of their games, and I gotta be honest, Control is gotta be one of the greatest games they have ever released. It's high on the list. I think it's close to where Max Payne was in terms of introducing new mechanics and how that really got across really neat ideas. Control utilizes Brutalist architecture. If you don't know what that is, if you've ever been in an office and you got really nervous and scared, that's Brutalist architecture.
Or you did something wrong.
You did something wrong.
I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah. Basically, the way that this visual looks, it's got this kind of just David Lynch vibe.
Yeah,
cold, very
concrete.
Cold. Yes,
like smooth surfaces, but then sharp and jagged.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's like it feels uneasy. It's basically the entire game takes place in an office. And when I say it takes place in an office, you instantly think, why would you ever want to play a game like this? When I say one of the greatest single experiences, block of gameplay I've ever experienced in any game for the past couple years came from Control, I mean it. There is one part that you can't break through, and eventually you go back to this part, and when it happens, and I don't even have to say, if you've played Control, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even want to ruin it. When you get to this point, this music starts swelling and everything starts playing, and you lose it. There is no game quite like Control. It really is one of the best. And honestly, if you like the gameplay of Max Payne, but you want like a really bizarre atmosphere that surrounds it with fantastic graphics, this is one of those games that utilizes ray tracing elements, so you get wonderful lighting and reflections. It really does stand out. It is a hallmark game, one of a generation, definitely worth playing.
Very cool. Okay, we're on to number 3. So our number 3 game, or my number 3 game rather, is a game that we already talked about.
Yep.
So we don't have to talk about it anymore, but we will, because it's really good.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is one of my favorite games of this year. Like I said, it's like a warm hug.
Sure.
We talked about the art style and stuff. The music is great as well.
Oh, I forgot to mention that, yeah.
The music is wonderful.
Oh, the song the girl sings.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds better here than it did on the Game Boy.
So not only like we didn't really dabble with the quality of life stuff, and I do want to mention that a little bit. This is a remake of the original, but it mostly sticks to the original sort of format, except for a few things that really make things a lot better, like control wise.
Yes.
On the Game Boy with the original game, you just had 2 big buttons, or 2 action buttons, let's say.
Yep.
And you would have to go into your menu and often switch out the items you wanted to use, which is totally cumbersome in a Zelda game, of course.
True. Yep.
Now we have so many buttons, that's no longer a problem. But there's also, you have your big map. You can pin things. Oh, I want to go back there. Hey, well, yeah, where could I bomb before now that I have bombs? Like, it just makes things flow so much better. This game, to me, like I said, I was just playing it recently. It's highly consumable.
Yeah.
You just keep going,
Yep.
and an owl pops out and is like, you should probably check out that waterfall. And you're like, okay. And then 8 hours are gone, and you're much further in the game.
Oh, yeah. Like, folks, I can't stress this enough. If you've played the original, you got to play the new one. If you've never played the original, and maybe even if you did play the original and you maybe didn't like it, you are going to like this one so much better. Everything that could have been improved upon is improved upon, including the controls, and that really makes it a far better game. Next up, for my pick for number 2, The Outer Worlds. I like Obsidian. I like Fallout. I like New Vegas.
Let me tell you about a little game called Grounded.
Yeah. Okay, I like Obsidian mostly.
We don't know. It could be good. Could be great.
Could be good.
Okay.
The Outer Worlds is a game that, look, folks, if you like Fallout New Vegas and you wanted to see what the creators of that game would do without the constraints of Bethesda on board, that's what The Outer Worlds is. It is a hands down amazing game. It's got a really cool story, fantastic characters, great writing, and the gameplay is very similar to New Vegas's. You're not getting a huge change over things. However, what does happen is New Vegas made use of a bad engine. Now, this is just, at the time, it was a lot older. It's aged drastically since then. It's the same engine they used on Fallout 4, but there's been improvements since then. But when New Vegas came out, it had a lot of glitches and a lot of problems. Outer Worlds looks way better than you're probably assuming. And I'm talking about things that the Unreal Engine is just really good at doing. It's the same core philosophy of game design, but you have all the elements that make that the Unreal Engine makes that just make it easier to consume. So yeah,
it just blows my mind that Obsidian can kind of come out of nowhere with this. This was like a wonderful surprise, right?
Yes.
And we were like, oh, surely this game is thin. It doesn't look like they had. We don't think of Obsidian as having a lot of people, a workforce to put into like a major effort of a game. Yeah. And from everything you said, this like blows Bethesda's attempts out of the water. And Bethesda is considered like they are the Fallout people right now. Currently.
So it's the Obsidian people come from that world. They come from the original Fallout and stuff like that. But what's important about the Outer Worlds to really take into consideration is that what you're getting here isn't a game that is massive. Because it is from a smaller team, the scope is a little bit smaller, but what they focused on is solid in every degree. It really does do those things right. I think the combat is really good. Like I said, I think it's an improvement over New Vegas's in certain ways, but definitely what really stands out is that New Vegas is an open world thing where you can go anywhere you want. This game is not that. You go to multiple different planets and you have smaller zones that you can explore on those planets. and different areas of specific planets. What's really good about what they've done is they've taken that smaller form factor and they packed every little area with lots of dense details and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I like. I prefer this game design method better than open world and empty. So they've done a great job there.
I feel like that's happening a lot now. Like, people are announcing these huge open worlds, and then the players are like, we don't need that.
Yeah.
We want a game that feels like alive, that has a lot to it, not just everything spread out. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Very cool. Okay. My number 2 game is a game that I think we both enjoyed quite a bit. It would have been possibly a contender for my number 1, but there's like one glaring thing that I'm sure we'll talk about. Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yep.
I didn't know Luigi's Mansion could be this good, and at the same time, kind of frustrating. Let's talk about the good, because it wouldn't make my number 2 unless it was extremely good.
Yes.
Luigi's Mansion it's a... How do I even describe this? It's a puzzle, horror.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it, right?
It's not really. It's the perfect Halloween game.
Yeah, it's the best Ghostbusters game they've ever made.
It leans heavily on physics.
Yeah.
Like, this is such an interesting title. I know it branches off of what's been established with the other Luigi's Mansion games, but the puzzle possibilities in this game, I didn't even realize could be a thing in a Luigi's Mansion game.
You know what it is? We went from GameCube to 3DS, and then we went to the Switch. So I would argue that what we saw with Luigi's Mansion is it kind of got downgraded in its second introduction. The third entry is now using a far more superior piece of hardware, and wow, does it show.
Okay, well, first and foremost, talking about WoW, looks amazing. Probably one of the best looking games on the console.
Yeah, animation alone, it's like you're looking at a movie some points. Like I was playing the opening sequence, and I was like, is this a pre-rendered video file?
I didn't want to leave that opening sequence. I was like, this is really beautiful. And I know that things are going to turn around because it's, the bad things have to happen.
It's got to happen. Ghosts got to show, folks.
But I cannot stress enough how amazing this game is. Every level of what is the hotel that you're kind of adventuring around is different. And not just in theme, but in how it introduces the different puzzle mechanics, shows you new ways that you can use the tools that you have, and offers some other tools as well. The incorporation of Guigi into the game means that you can solve puzzles and do interesting things. Like it opens up the possibilities even further.
Yeah.
You and your Guigi, which Guigi is basically just another Luigi. It's weird, I know. He's made of goo. You can both kind of suck things up together and team up together and like bash them aside. Or Guigi, because he's made of goo, he can go through like wire fences or stabby things and stuff. And so that, as well as you have your multiple flashlights, which allow you to do different things, attack different ghosts and then suck them up. You have the black light, which allows things to come into the world, like other characters and items and stuff. The plunger. The plunger! Again, you plunge things and you're moving them around and stuff. The physics in this game, I didn't realize that the title would be so physics heavy. I got to a point in the game where my jaw dropped. There's a level that's a little later on in the game. I don't think this is spoilerish, but there's an Egypt level where you're controlling the sand in a level. And I didn't realize the Switch could God, I don't think the Switch is like a really powerful, impressive.
Yeah.
But this, you're moving around like these like waving like dunes and stuff. My jaw kept dropping more and more and more.
It's right at the very beginning of the game, too, when you can see there's this, like, laundry room. It's basic. You just walk through it. You don't think of anything. But if you go back there with a vacuum, you can pick up towels, and the towels unfold themselves. Things fall over the place. Steam. Everything is moving. Like, every level doesn't feel static. It's crazy to think about this, but the moment you start playing, you notice the detail. There are very few games that offer that. And even though Nintendo didn't release a lot of games this year, this one stands out. Like, it was a very good entry from them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I feel like I haven't really done it enough justice yet. But if you are ever wondering whether or not you should jump into the Luigi's Mansion series, you don't have to play the other two games, because I dabbled with them a little bit. This was kind of my jumping off point.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that really
You can get right into this, and you can be really enjoying a title that is unlike anything else I've really played recently.
Yeah. The controls are a little bit harsh.
Exactly.
That's a thing.
This game would have been so much higher, I think, on so many people's lists if it wasn't for what you just mentioned, right?
Yeah. The controls can be a little bit fidgety. And I mean, you'll figure it out. It's not like it's impossible, but wow, it takes a lot. I think they could have worked on that a bit more, but
I know.
regardless, they did what they did.
Yeah.
Now, we need to talk about a couple things before we get to number one.
You don't just want to do number one?
No,
they want to hear our number one game.
Special mentions, folks. Okay?
Special mentions.
So we got a couple. First off, Tetris 99.
Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Battle Royale Tetris would work?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good, folks. And for most people that own a Switch and have a Nintendo Online account, you just got it and you didn't even think about it. But yeah, that's a game of this year. It is very, very good. And I think it's one of the best Battle Royale games that's ever been made because it's all about the skill and not about the luck of walking around and having to find the right weapon.
I can tell you firsthand, there were many moments earlier on in this year where I was like, hey, Shane, what are you playing? And I just heard, like, Tetris.
Yeah. Constantly.
He wouldn't talk to me because he was obviously trying to get number one, but yeah.
Another one, Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game is a title that we both dabbled with. Super duper charming.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is I believe the first title from House.
Yes, I think
and
so.
I'm eager to see what else kind of comes out of that studio after this. The initial trailer or teaser for this made a big splash on the internet. A lot of people were talking about this. Oh, the goose. It's like Metal Gear Solid, but with a goose. You said it was like another series.
Yeah, it reminded me more of like Hitman. You're trying to achieve certain goals to trigger something. And it just, look, it's not exactly Hitman. It's not exactly Metal Gear. But what you're getting is basically world puzzles that you have to achieve with physics implementations and stuff like that. It is really, really fun. Like when you achieve a goal, you feel like you're scamming or freaking out the people on the scene. It's great.
I think the best part is when you know you can move on to the next section of the game, the person in the game puts up a sign that's just like a goose picture with like a red cross out of it. It's like no goose is allowed here anymore because you just messed everything up.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It really is.
When you trip a small child, and I think steal their glasses while they're fumbling on the floor, you'll understand why this game is so good.
Yeah, it really is. So another game that we're not going to mention, but we want to mention is Super Mario Maker 2. Yep. If you're a fan of the original Super Mario Maker 2 is essentially the same idea with more stuff, including something that's very important to both Adam and I, a single-player campaign that you can play without having to build anything. That's important for these kind of games because some people don't want to build things, they just want to play stuff. And instead of having a non-curated list from Nintendo, it's an actual like design level in-house thing, and it's really, really good. I think it's worth it. And it's just old 2D style Mario game that you just keep on playing again.
I feel like this is a game that's going to live for a very long time on the Switch because I know the community, like it's a game that just keeps building itself over and over again. And like we already saw in the first Super Mario Maker, but the things that people can do with the tools that Nintendo offers them is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You know?
Another game that I think is a really good one to add is Void Bastards.
Oh, can you say that?
Yeah, I think we can.
Gosh.
Void Bastards is kind of just a simple game of kind of like it's a roguelike. And what you do in the game is you're going from spaceship to spaceship, or you're this packaged person. Like it's really weird. You're a person that can die, and then you're like some of your stuff gets saved, and then this little pack jumps off from your back, goes back, and then this AI pours another person into a ship and then adds water, whatever. And it's weird.
It is whatever it needs to be to make sure it's a roguelike.
Yes. So you can keep replaying and replaying. You keep adding things, building things, collecting things. Yeah. It really gets on there. But what really stands out about this is it's like a 3D, 2D comic book. All of the characters in the game, all your weapons, everything are flat 2D art assets, but everything is in a 3D world. The graphics, the art design on this really stands out. A lot of the voice acting and stuff like that is pretty good as well. Hand over fist, you got to be picking up this game to try it out, because in terms of games that people probably didn't realize they'd really like, if you are a fan of FTL and you wanted FTL to be a first-person shooter, here's the game. That's what this is, and it's really, really solid.
Awesome. Okay. Do you want to move on? Should we do?
Well, there's one more game.
Is there one more?
Unfortunately, I think some people might have thought we would have picked this as Game of the Year, but we didn't.
No. Okay. So we got to get this out of the way then.
Disco Elysium.
Why isn't this the Game of the Year?
Folks,
okay. Never mind. Tell us.
Disco Elysium, unfortunately, didn't make our top list. There are other games we really like. This one is really good. Disco Elysium is a very simple game. It's a point-and-click action adventure with RPG-style mechanics. There's a lot of talking, and you would think that a game like that would be boring. Let me tell you, even in the opening sequence, what they're doing is they're conveying a world and an idea to you with amazing writing. Writing I've never seen in a video game before, with really good, solid voice acting and just great ideas being presented. It's really strange to think you should be playing a game based off of writing, but this is some of the best writing I have ever seen in a game, ever, period. The dialogue, every character sounds like a unique, specific person that has their own characteristics and their own background. The way that they talk about things in the game is just like this. It's like you're a detective and you wake up drunk. You don't remember anything. You're trying to build things back up. I don't want to spoil too much because this is a narrative-focused game. But the moment you start, you might not like the gameplay, like the way you click around things and stuff like that. You really might not. But after just a couple of seconds, you're hooked on the words that are being spoken. You're hooked on the idea of the gambling system where there's this like risk reward of, can you pick this this dialogue option, and do you have enough skill to make that dialogue option a success? It's really cool.
Yeah, it seems like it takes some notes from like the older Fallout games, but turns it all on its head.
Yes,
I guess. And
you know what? That's what this could be. Did you like the older Fallout games or the newer Fallout games? Do you like the way that the dialogue is presented in those games? But would you rather that dialogue system being presented in a far more complex, interesting way? That's Disco Elysium. If you are a fan of interesting art styles, it's got one too. I'm not knocking anything else about the game. It's just, if you like dialogue-heavy games with good dialogue, this is one of the weirdest, coolest games to try out.
Okay. Honorable mentions. Honorable
mentions are done.
Set aside, very carefully.
All right. We got to pick our number one.
Number one. Do you have confetti in your pockets?
No.
Shoot, I don't have confetti in my pockets. Our number one games. Shane, you wanna go first?
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is one of the best games I've ever played, folks. I think we tend to think about EA as a company that isn't capable of making games that people like. And while that might be true, we're talking about them as a publisher and not a developer, because the developer of this is a Respawn. Now, Respawn is not really known for their single player experiences outside of Titanfall. Titanfall 2 had a really good experience. A lot of people liked it. But even though I played it, I didn't think we were going to get something like this. Star Wars Fallen Order merges together Jedi Knight, which is an older series of games. It merges together Metroid, and it merges together I want to say Dark Souls, any kind of a game with a parry sword system, right? You're getting all that stuff in the same kind of concept there. But what really gets me about this is that the way they do backtracking in this makes more sense to me than any other game that's ever done backtracking. Because traditionally, when you do backtracking in a game, and what that is essentially, you go to a room, you see a door, you can't open up that door because you don't have the specific thing you need to open that door, so you keep playing the game in another direction.
It's the worst.
And then you walk all the way back. Well, how they do this is every world, every planet that you go to has branching paths, and you're going to be going to those planets again and again and again. So once you go back, you have the ability to unlock those things. There's a reason to go back. There's hidden stuff and whatever, but wow. Great voice acting, great vocal performances, really good animation. Like, there are points in this game when you're looking at the animation, you're thinking, wow, this could just be a movie. And then the narrative and the story. Star Wars games typically, I don't want to say suck for story. They're just very like one note for story.
I think you're right. Absolutely.
It's like defeat the Empire, do this, do that. You got that here too, but there's a background story going on that involves like an ancient race of aliens. You're finding out more about the Force, more about its origins. You've got elements of exploration here and puzzle building. It's just everything in a game you would want. The only part about this that isn't very good, in my opinion, it doesn't have the best combat. The combat, it can be mastered, it can be learned, but I think it could have been tweaked a little bit more. And I think you're going to be seeing a sequel to this game. And if they do that and they kind of tweak that battle system a bit, spend a bit more time on it, you're going to get a game that is going to be even better than this one. And what they've already done is seriously amazing. Game of the year for me.
And I think I remember you saying that it intertwined the sort of the films together very well.
Yes,
as well.
There's aspects of the movies.
The mess of what the films are. It's kind of cool to see them all sort of consolidated well.
Yeah, you see some characters, and I'm not talking like, oh, you're gonna see Star Wars. Oh, Darth Vader. You know what? fine, but you're going to see.
Vader in it?
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you see characters that are not from the mainstream series of the movies. I mean, Rogue One, to be very, very specific. When you see those characters, they feel like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, those characters exist in the Star Wars universe, and that's what they've done here. They've done a really good job with that. And they even did one thing right at the beginning, just a spoiler, because I have to say this. I always hated, after episode 3 to 4, how you had all these really nice, beautiful ships, and then they changed them in the next one with Luke Skywalker. I was like, why did that happen? How did that exist? This game answers that question. None of the movies did. This game right at the beginning goes, isn't that stupid? Why are we doing this? And they actually make fun of it. It's a Star Wars game that knows what it is. It's just, it really is. It's that good.
Hopefully it is that good that EA looks at it and says, oh, wait, yeah, we can do like single player Star Wars story experiences.
Yeah, and EA's, 17 pounds of DLC. Yeah, that's not here. You might get expansion packs and stuff like that, but you're not doing like really stupid things that harm the gameplay. At no point while I was playing did I ever feel like, oh, well, I guess I got to spend $5 to get that to make my game better.
Right.
You don't see that here.
Well, hopefully they're learning something, but we'll see what happens there. Yeah. Okay, I guess it's time for my number one game.
Yes, it is.
And my number one game is it's a game I grew up with. I'm like setting the tone. My brother and I played this way back in the day on the original PlayStation. This is a remake. This is Resident Evil 2. Some people call it Resident Evil 2 Remake. This game just completely blew me away, and I had it in mind throughout the entirety of the year because it came out super duper early in the year. And I feel like not a lot of people are returning to it at their end of the year lists because there's so many other strong games. But this one, there are so many elements here that grabbed me. One thing in particular, the atmosphere. Immediately when you start playing the game, you feel like you're in a horror movie. You're trying to survive, and it's such a bizarre feeling because you're fighting these slow, like lumbering zombies and stuff, and you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the situation, but you love it. Like I couldn't help it. And I think it's because the gameplay is so marvelous in that you always feel like you're hanging on by a thread in this game. Health packs, your sprays, your plants, your herbs, you want to conserve your ammo. Most of the enemies in this game, they give you plenty of time to shoot at them. They show their weaknesses. You know where to shoot the eye and stuff. But you got to make sure your aim's spot on. You don't want to be wasting your ammo and stuff.
With Resident Evil 2, when they were announcing this remake and when we saw it, I was just explaining, okay, I know what you're going to do. You're just going to do the old version of the game. You're just going to make the backgrounds nice and high resolution, make new models. This is a one-to-one completely different game. It is completely unique. Beautiful graphics.
Right.
I mean, the lighting and effects work in this is crazy good.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's another big reason why I feel like the game pulled me in. Like I said, it felt like I was in a horror movie. They play with shadows in such a great way. They make everything look so dang shootable, so disgusting. Everything is oozing and pussing and festering. But a lot of the enemies, they act the way that you remember and stuff, but there's one enemy in particular that I hated it so much, so dang much, but at the same time, I loved, it was giving me the heebie-jeebies in such a great way, and that's Mr. X. That's this lumbering, freaking tank that's impossible to kill throughout major portions of the game. You can just kind of slow it down or stop it for a moment, so he takes a knee, which is great. But yeah, you're going around, you're trying to solve these puzzles, and the puzzles in Resident Evil 2, the remake, are very satisfying and great. But you know what to do. You just got to go over there and maybe crank a bookshelf or something. It's so simple, right? Thump, thump, thump. You can hear this freaking tyrant roaming around, and you're like, I don't know, he sounds close. If I hear a door opening, I gotta get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
And that's with you for, I think it's like 2/3 of the game. A lot of people say it goes by relatively quick. For me, it didn't. I was horrified, and I was constantly running away from this thing, because if it grabs you, it doesn't emote. It's not upset. It's just there to kill the remainder of the fallout of like the Umbrella sort of incident within Raccoon City. The city itself, we're talking about graphics. Everything's beautifully, very well rendered. The police station in particular, it just feels so freaking it feels old and huge. It feels like a museum.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is scary, right?
Yeah.
You got the echoes reverberating. You hear things moaning behind doors, and then you got the constant thump of this Mr. X character chasing you around.
Yeah, a part of the game that really like got me was there's a sequence where someone's trying to escape under a door, and then the door kind of cuts them. And when that happens, like that looked real to me. Like that's how crazy the graphics are in this game. It really stands out.
Yeah, and it is. The first version of this game was good. It was really good, and I remember loving it back then. But what this game does is it takes everything that Resident Evil has sort of learnt over its decades upon decades. Like the first version was 20 years old. It takes everything that it learned, the good and the bad, and left out the bad stuff, put in the good stuff. We have like a third-person viewpoint. We don't have tank controls anymore, which some people griped about, but yeah, whatever, get over it. It still has like all of the fear and tension that you had from those old games, but it's updated in such a great way. Even just the map system. The map system shows you when you're done collecting items in a room. Okay, I don't have to go in that room anymore. Great.
Yeah. Simple stuff.
It's wonderful,
right?
And it keeps you heading forward. I love that. I love this game.
All right, man.
I love it so much.
This is essentially what we got here. It's a pretty big list, but I think we've really covered a lot of the stuff that was really good. Folks, did we miss anything from our list that you feel was a best game of 2019?
But maybe before you write in the comments, there might be another video floating around about games that we anticipated for this year.
Yeah.
And what happened with those. So you might want to check that out too.
Stay tuned.
All right. Well, what you guys think about the year? What are your top games? And I guess just let us know in the comments below.
Or did you think the year sucked?